And joining me now, Congressman Jim Jordan, Congressman Mark Meadows, both of whom serve on the House Oversight Committee and penned a joint op-ed this week saying it's time for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to go. Thanks to both of you for being here tonight. All right, guys, I'll start with you, Congressman Jordan. You still think Sessions has to go?
Well, I think we've seen some changes. You know, the fact that they are investigating the Clinton Foundation, the fact that they're looking at this Uranium One issue, the fact that they told Chairman Nunes at the Intel Committee they're actually going to now give us the documents they've been seeking for 6 months. So hats off to Mark Meadows, Ron DeSantis, Matt Gaetz, and Chairman Nunes for putting the pressure on the Justice Department. It's sort of like they've had a little change of attitude. I always think of when I was a kid, sometimes my dad would have a little attitude adjustment meeting with my brother and I, and normally after those meetings we had a little change of perspective and a change in behavior. That's what I think we're witnessing now, and again, it's because of the push from Congress, I believe, that we're seeing some change. So if that continues, great, but if it doesn't, then we might need to change at who's serving as Attorney General.
And so you're still not quite there yet. You want to see a little more.
Well, we still don't have a special counsel, which we called for 7 months ago to look the things you talked about in your wonderful opening statement.
I've called for it, but you know, I have to tell you, I'm impressed right now. You know, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and you know, but I'm ready to go back at him if it isn't the case. But Congressman Meadows, let me ask you this: I have from a source in the FBI that a memo went out on the FBI network that asked for agents who were willing to work on this case, who had experience in white-collar crime and corruption. That, in addition to the November 13th letter of the Attorney General, where he says, although he's looking to have special people, high-up people assess whether or not it needs to be looked at, he also said that he would add whatever necessary resources are needed. And I think we now know that the Obama administration dropped the ball. How about you? Are you inclined to kind of give Jeff Sessions the benefit of the doubt, or are you still holding out?
Well, I'm willing to applaud him on this particular move, Judge, and you're exactly right. I mean, if he's going to look into Uranium One, if he's going to look into the Clinton Foundation, that's what the American people want. That's what you and I want. It's about time that we get answers. But there are still some troubling things, and Jim was talking about that. The fact that there continue to be leaks. There continues to be a lack of sufficient evidence. Let me give you this. This is a memo from the 2nd of March, and when we 2nd of May, and when you look at the bottom of it, it's all deleted. Now, what we do know is on that particular memo, it's when it talked about being grossly negligent, when they changed all of that back in May, and yet this is the kind of documents that the House Oversight is getting, fully redacted, and they act like they're complying. So I'm sure that Attorney General Sessions wouldn't say that that's a good thing. The documents unredacted so the American people can make their decision.
Well, Congressman Jordan, I mean, what Congressman Meadows is talking about, it has to be frustrating for you. Why is it that the New York Times, that Tom Fitton and a lot of these organizations that, and I give Fitton all the credit in the world, I really do, have access to material that you, as part of the congressional oversight or you know, judiciary committees, can't get?
A lot of times because they go through a court, and we're just asking as an equal branch of government for the executive branch to give us that information, and they don't. We haven't seen much difference until this week. We hadn't seen much difference between this Attorney General and the Holder administration, the Lynch administration. So that's got to change. And Mark's right. Stop the leaks. Give us the documents. Appoint a second special counsel. And most importantly, answer our questions. When Attorney General Sessions was in front of the Judiciary Committee, I asked him straight up, did the FBI pay Christopher Steele, the author of the dossier? Were you paying him, reimbursing him at the same time that the Clinton campaign, the DNC were paying Christopher Steele? That's a simple question with a direct answer. They would not answer that question. That's a fundamental question. If our FBI was paying the author of that dossier, and then if they took that dossier and used it as the basis to secure FISA warrants at the FISA court to spot, those are so wrong.
Congressman Meadows, how do we find out if that dossier or Peter Strzok was the one who was the affiant for the warrant? How do we find that out?
Well, you know, here's how we have to find it out. Chairman Nunes has done a good job. I can tell you that we reached an agreement this week for more documents to come. But we've been here before. Jim and I have been here before, where they promise documents and then they don't actually deliver.
What's the deadline?
So as long as the deadline really is January 15th for our committee for Judiciary and Oversight. Chairman Nunes says that documents are coming in. There's a very short leash on that. Listen, if the Attorney General is willing to be transparent, applaud him. Jim and I will come back on, Judge, and say thank you, Attorney General Sessions. But if he's not, you know, Lady Justice has a blindfold. No one's above the law, and it's time that we get to the bottom of this.
All right, guys, we've got a date, January 15th. We're going to make sure that we have that phone call because the American public and my viewers are not willing to wait much longer than that. But kudos to both of you and kudos to your committee. Thanks, Congressman Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows.